Welcome to Social Factors in Health by Amber McCormick, Professor Olive, February 10th, 2014. Today we are going to discuss the theories, how each of these theories impacts or is delegated, I suppose, by my own individual experience in the socio-cultural whatnot, I suppose. First, we'll have Bronfenbrenner's ecological model of human development, where, it has several layers of a concept of, the environment that relates to the way a person, lives their life or the way they react to things. And then we have the person in environment approach, where you have to consider everything in the person's environment as to how or why they act in a certain way. And then finally the biopsychosocial approach that considers the mental and physical and social aspects of any illness or disorder, and they all have to be considered equally. So first I want to discuss the Bronfenbrenners. And there's several different systems, that are, it looks kind of like a target, one little circle inside of another circle inside of another circle. And, one of those circles is the macro system, which is the society you live in. And, our society it frowns upon, things such as, sexual abuse, which, when a child goes through that, they end up, like me, having PTSD. And, so in our society, we frown upon that. So then I am supported, and the person who did that to me is not supported. They're the bad guy. So then there's the exosystem, things that I cannot control. Like a new employee that I get to train might be a male. I might have a physical panic response, and I might be uncomfortable or not know what to say, and that's part of my PTSD that I get to deal with, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. And then after that, there's the micro system, and the micro system is, the people that I face to face with every day. So the people I work with every day, or, my family at home, which a lot of people that do know about my PTSD are very supportive of trying to make me comfortable or trying to help me work out through, these little funks and depressions that I might get into, or, calm me down if I have a panic attack. And then finally, the meso system is when two or more of these systems interact. So, the exosystem and the microsystem might work together. If I tell my boss that, I don't think I'll be able to train a new male employee because of my PTSD, and she can work with me and understand that I am uncomfortable, and, to help make it a positive experience and let me get used to the new employee from afar. She can understand that and help me and, make my life easier without me looking like a total crazy person. So, next, person in environment. There's the social impacts of it. A lot of people who witness me being uncomfortable or just shying away from men might, just think that I'm a shy person, which, sometimes I am. But I don't really socialize with very many males. When I get to know them, it'll be like I'll treat them like my friends or my family members. But then sometimes something will happen and I'll act really weird and they'll be like, what's wrong with you? And I don't tend to explain it to them, but it's just one of those things. That there's also the familial response, that my family knows everything about, my PTSD. And as I said before, they will support me and they will help me through whatever I need. And finally, the physical. I do have, physical reactions sometimes when it seems completely like I shouldn't. You know, I will, my heart will start beating, and even if my mind, like my brain does not freak out like my body does, it's just an automatic reaction. And sometimes, I have to take a minute to breathe, calm myself down. And, in this approach, these three might add up a little bit different from the Bronfenbrenners because, it doesn't go by just the types of interactions that you have to consider. It goes by what kind of reactions, no matter if they're face to face or, the system that, things that I can't control. And finally, the biopsychosocial. One of the things that they consider is the mental aspect of it. And I think that is probably the number one thing in PTSD is it's mostly a mental response. It's your mind playing tricks on you, your mind trying to make you freak out. And it takes a lot of work to make your mind be okay with things that have happened and trying to move on to something else. And, it is a lot of work, and sometimes it makes you physically tired because it's like you just don't want to have these like mental images or these nightmares, or, you just want it to be done. And so it considers that, and then it considers the physical aspects. You know, okay, I look like I'm fine. I'm, other than the occasional Amber's freaking out, like having a panic attack or shaking because, a guy's too close. These physical responses, I'm perfectly fine. I can walk, I can run, I can see, I have all four limbs. It's not, not necessarily physical other than what I described before. And finally, social, as I described on the last slide, there's some, Amber's being weird. Amber doesn't talk to guys. Amber, takes a while to warm up to people. With these three all considered together, the biopsychosocial, you can, when you consider them all together, you're not just thinking about, the person's physical well-being, which, such as in the Army with people with, the shell shock syndrome back in World War II, they were looking at the physical well-being of this person. Oh, well, you're fine, you're physically fine, but they're having nightmares and they're freaking out over, things. And, it's come in the last 50, 60 years that it is something to be worried about. It is something to, it's something important, and it also needs to be taken care of rather than just the physical aspects, and as for social, you need to make sure that, these people that are going through mental and physical challenges do have a support system such as I do in order to even continue. This is when people who have these disorders, whether it be, the physical, Parkinson's disease, or, just depression over their life sucking, they need to have a social support system of people that do love and care about them so that, they don't do anything that would harm themselves. They need to know that there are people that care about them, and, healthcare professionals that do care about them and want to see them get better. And, I think all three of these approaches are really similar to each other because they, um, they consider more than just the physical well-being of each of these people. And they consider the wholeness of, we're not just looking at, you know, a disease you have. We're not going to treat the symptoms. We're going to treat the patient. We're going to treat the the things, how to take care of you from all different aspects, all different angles. We're going to make sure your family can help take care of you, and we're going to get you into um, therapy so that, you can learn ways to deal, or, we're going to get you into, chemotherapy for those that have cancer. It's just all of these different approaches have more to do with treating a person as a whole, their mind and their body and their families, which it's all important. And yeah, thank you for listening to my impromptu spiel. I didn't know what I was going to say until now, but thank you, and you have a wonderful evening.